Passenger Seat podcast, a podcast designed to fill your passenger seat with chat about classic cars, all recorded from my 1968 Morris Minor Peggy. I'm Becca, and today I'm on my way to the garden centre. I'm recording this just between the seasons and towards the end of the kind of break that I've put in, and also during my bit of annual leave break from work as well. And I've been kind of desperately using this bit of time off to try and get a few bits and pieces sorted, get my life in order, and get my garden looking presentable before the season really starts for car shows and all my weekends are booked up. So I thought I'd use this first episode of the season, as I have been known to in the past, catching you guys up on kind of what's been happening in the few weeks in between, letting you know what we've been up to, what Peggy's been up to, and kind of really setting the scene for season 5, which is what we're going into now. And it will actually be the season where we hit the 100th episode of the podcast, which will be really exciting. Now, obviously, this series break has been a little bit different. I did have a bit of time to have a play around with a few different ways of kind of recording my experiences, which is what this podcast has always been about. So I did kind of try out a little bit of vlogging of a few events. So if you listen over on the YouTube channel and you're subscribed over there, you'll have had the opportunity to see some of those vlogs, or pod vlogs as we called them, as they came out. There was kind of a few bits and pieces over there, but I'm also going to fill you in on some of those things in today's episode, as well as a few other bits and pieces that we've been up to that didn't get recorded in that style. So really not long after the series ended, was that back in the end of March, I was invited to go along to my very first press event, which was really exciting. So I went along with Ford to see the unveiling of their new electric vehicle, so completely different to anything that I'm kind of used to talking about and experiencing. At their Women Drive Electric event that's done with Auto Trader, and it was a great opportunity to meet other women that really enjoy automotive or have an interest in automotive, and also get the feel of kind of what a press reveal of a car is like. And it was a really great experience, and I'm so grateful to have been offered that as a kind of day out in London, and just kind of getting to see how these sorts of days work. And yeah, just had a fantastic day in London. The car was really interesting to kind of climb about in and explore. Charlie was there as well, and it was nice to spend some time with her and meet some other wonderful people as well, and also meet Poppy, who I've spoke to on Instagram and Twitter previously, but hadn't met in person yet. So yeah, just a really exciting event to have been part of, and it really solidified for me this idea that some women predominant spaces within automotive are definitely something we need to see more of, which really led into kind of the next thing that I'd already been thinking about before that, but I launched the Women's Drivers Social Club over on Facebook, and that's been doing really well. We've been gradually, quite steadily growing in numbers, and word of mouth's been getting out and about, and it was so lovely to see that people were looking for that sort of space for women to talk about cars and automotive and all those sorts of things. And we're in the midst of planning events for the year under that banner, and keeping myself busy. And one of the first things that I did with that group was suggest that we all meet up at the NEC. And again, it's another one of those things where if you've been watching the channel, you'll have seen that I did a vlog of the NEC Resto show, and that was where we all had the opportunity to kind of meet randomly at a time in a place and kind of start that momentum of getting to know each other and talking to each other about our experiences at an event like the NEC or something like that. And the NEC itself was really good. I had a really fantastic time, and I got to catch up and meet so many people that I either hadn't really seen since the NEC or hadn't got to meet in person ever before that day. So it was a really lovely day out. Me and Peggy had a lot of fun driving all the way over there and then all the way back as well. Such a long journey for me is always better when I'm in Peggy. I find it easier to concentrate on the drive. I find it easier to feel comfortable doing such a long trip, and I love doing long trips in Peggy, even if she's going to be sat in the car park at the NEC. At the NEC, I also got to see the car that I've been helping the MMOC with the Morris Minor Owners Club for their 75th anniversary. For their 75th anniversary, they've been working on developing a charity car that will go around to loads of events this summer, hopefully draw in quite a few different people to seeing and sitting in a Morris Minor, and also raise lots of money for the very good cause of Marie Curie, who are also celebrating their 75th anniversary. So the car needed quite a distinctive look, and that was all unveiled at the NEC. So you can kind of look up Meeting Miranda Minor and find her on Instagram and on Facebook and see kind of where the car's going to be if you're interested in seeing a very unusual looking Morris Minor that will certainly stand out. And I've actually got it once this year myself driving for the young members, and so you'll be able to see it here on the podcast as well. There's also been a couple of local meets that have started to kind of really get me excited for the season ahead. You'll have seen, again, over on the YouTube channel, a very short little vlog that I did of a day out to Quest Brothers Classic Car Restorations Cars and Coffee meet that they do every month local to us. It's a really good meet, and even on the grizzly rainy day that it was this month when we went along, it was well attended and quite a lot of fun. So that's a great one if you're kind of in the Cambridgeshire area when they're on. I also went, I say localish, it was about an hour and a bit's drive for us because we were in convoy with Mum, Dad and my sister. We swapped passengers over to Sywell, and Mum and Dad on the way back were in the 1931 Singer Junior, Emma. We went over for the Wheel Nuts meet, which is a really lovely meet. It is midweek, midday, so sometimes it's going to obviously be impossible for me to get to, but it does sometimes fall when I'm on annual leave, and I love heading over to Sywell Aerodrome and the Aviator, and so any excuse really. And it was just a really nice drive out. The weather was absolutely gorgeous, and yeah, just getting us really excited for the wonderful weather and summer season of car shows ahead. We also had a day trip to Skegness for my birthday. I like to take Peggy out on my birthday because it's also her namesake's birthday. Peggy Carter, the fictional character, shares my birthday. So last year we went to Southend-on-Sea, and I really do love the Great British seaside and a bit of a cheesy amusements and seafront. So we went up north this time rather than down south to Skegness, and I hadn't been there in really so long when I was thinking about it, and it was a lovely day out. We got some nice pictures of Peggy, managed to get her posed next to the new Skeg Vegas sign that's over at the raceway, kind of on your way in, depending on which direction you're coming from. For us it was a bit of a diversion, but worth it for some lovely photos. And yeah, a lovely day by the seaside, and stopped off the V8 cafe on the way home, met up with my parents and my sister and her boyfriend, and had a really nice birthday meal. So there's been lots of adventures and gallivanting kind of between seasons. Some of it's been recorded, some of it not, but photos were taken at all of them, so be sure to be following us over on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and I'm sure you'll find lots of photos of Peggy in various places over there. It's not all been smooth sailing though. If you have got a very keen ear and I've not managed to edit it perfectly, you might have noticed that Peggy's got a few bumps and knocks and things. One particular one that is coming from the front passenger side suspension, and when we consulted somebody about it, they said, oh, it's possibly your lower trunnions. So my dad and I spent a day fixing those out, swapping them for a new set of trunnions, and seeing as everything was apart, Dad was like, right, we'll do the top trunnion as well, and all of that, and the noise is still there. And in fact, for a bit it was worse, but we've managed to alter that, and I've gone and spoken to another restorations place about what they think it is, and got some kind of feedback from them. So we've got a few other things to try, but yeah, there's definitely been some work and some frustrating work being done on Peggy, because I think it's the age-old problem that we talk about, how easy these classic cars are to fix and take apart and all that, but it's not always easy to diagnose exactly what the problem is, and that's where the rub really comes with these classic cars. It's experience and knowledge, and also trial and error, which can end up costing you time and money in a different way to a more modern vehicle. Wyvern's also been a little bit naughty. He's been kind of on and off the road a little bit, was able to come along to a few events with us, but then kind of in between those things has been having a vibration with him, tried to be diagnosed, and again, same sort of issues coming up where we've tried a few different things and not really got to the bottom of it. But Jamie's working hard on that, especially while I've been working on the garden during kind of bank holiday weekend and things. I've also been really busy doing loads of planning. Obviously the Women's Drivers Social Club needs stuff planning for it, and so does the Morris Minor Young Members. I'm really fortunate that Nathaniel is a great teammate with the Morris Minor Young Members stuff, and we've got some fun stuff to look forward to this year, and we're hopefully going to get the young members out and about around the country to a few different events, and yeah, also been working on some new merch and things for them. It's such a, there's so many different skills I'm realising that's needed within kind of car clubs and classic car gatherings, and yeah, it's something that I don't think you really realise until you put your hand up and you get yourself stuck in on a few different projects. And it's certainly keeping me busy and having lots of things to think about and stay on top of, which I always love. It keeps me occupied and from going stir crazy, and it's always so rewarding when all of these things kind of come together and are appreciated by people. So lots of fun, but I hope that me juggling all of this stuff shows to people that it can be done, and perhaps encourages a few more people to put their hands up and offer to help out, because all the events that we enjoy and take a huge joy in being part of are not going to happen unless people put their hands up and take part in them. And so if you enjoy events, perhaps make sure that you kind of thank those who are heavily involved in putting them on, but also consider what you can do to help make sure that they keep happening. In between all of that, there's also been a few bits of recording that I've done for some podcasts that will come out during this season. Had some interesting ideas that were going to take a little bit of time, so it was nice to be able to take the time between seasons to get them recorded. I keep meaning to borrow the keys of my parents' singer chamois and get that on the channel and make a really good comparison of that to Peggy, especially as they're only 1 year different and such different cars to drive and experience. And perhaps even record a little POV drive in the chamois as well, just to kind of give a little bit of something else to the YouTube side of things. The other planning we've obviously had to do is plan where we're going and what we're doing this summer, and I'd love for you to share kind of what your plans are this summer, what shows you're looking forward to, what meets you're looking forward to, and where you're hoping to get your cars and when, so that I've got some more ideas to try and, because it can be really easy to fall into going to the same events every year, and whilst that can be fun to make sure that you catch up with the people that you know through the car scene, it's also fun to find some variation as well. So let me know down in the comments on YouTube or over on social media what events you're planning on going to this summer. I hope you're really looking forward to season 5 over here on the Passenger Seat podcast. If you are, make sure that you're liking, subscribing, following on whichever platform it is that you listen to the podcast on, and can't wait to share with you what we've got coming up. But in the meantime, drive safely and happy motoring.